What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And as you guys can tell by the title of the video and of course this book that I have in my hands, it is prediction time. Yes, we have my predictions for Extreme Rules. Now I'm gonna be honest, if you compare this card to last year's card, this card is actually pretty nuts. I mean, think about last year's card. Last year's card was not even that good. It wasn't even that it literally was not even that good at all. I mean, you had Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title, which ended in a no contest because of the return of Sasha Banks. We had Damian Priest versus Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy in a triple threat match for the United States title, which I believe Priest and rolled up Sheamus to retain the title. We had Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title, which did not go well for Miss Bliss. We had the main event, which was Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor, which was the only match that had a stipulation. Yeah, the only match that even had a stipulation, which was Extreme Rules for the Universal title, which due to some unweary circumstances, Roman Reigns survived. Plain and simple. We had the Usos versus the Street Profits for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Excuse me. We had Liv Morgan versus Carmella, and of course the New Day. All three members of the New Day against Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Omos. This year's card is literally looking like Extreme Rules. It literally looks like a legit Extreme Rules card, which is insane. So hopefully you guys are ready for this prediction video. If you guys are and you guys want more premium live event prediction videos and result videos in the future, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Let's kick it off with a 6-man tag team match between all the members of Imperium against the Brawling Brutes in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. This is actually the second time that we've had a Donnybrook match in WWE. Both times are going to involve Sheamus, but the last time it involved Drew McIntyre, which was a hell of a matchup. This one is going to be just as, because you have two teams who are struggling for control, if you will. They're struggling for control over SmackDown. We know that this Friday on the season premiere of SmackDown on Fox, it's going to be Sheamus versus Gunther in a rematch for the Intercontinental title. Now, this is going to be interesting because last night on NXT, Vinci and Kaiser both cost the Brawling Brutes, Ridge and Butch, the NXT Tag Team titles against Pretty Deadly, which it would have been a hell of a matchup had Imperium not have shown up. Yeah. Had Imperium not shown up, honestly, I think the Brawling Brutes probably would have won. But that's just my opinion. But, you know, and then of course too, this past Monday on Raw, they got involved again, costing Ridge and Butch a victory, which was, I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened. All I know is that this rivalry has been spewing over the last month, and I think this Saturday needs to come to an end. I think it comes down to who's got more chemistry together. We know that both Ridge Holland and Butch had teamed up together from their days in NXT when they aligned themselves with Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan, and Pat McAfee back when he was a heel, and it's interesting because with that type of chemistry, I mean that's nothing compared to Kaiser and Vinci, who had been teaming up together for the last few years, dating back to when Kaiser, first bursted on the scene in WWE, trying to get his footing in WWE, and he eventually aligned himself with Vinci, which gave them the chance to align themselves with Gunther. Thus, Imperium was born. Honestly, I think this match definitely needs to go to Imperium, because if they can somehow just overcome all the odds, of the whole Donnybrook Rules match, and the hell? Something's caught in my tooth. Okay, there we go. Anyway, wait. Okay, never mind. Anyway, if they can somehow overcome all the odds of the whole Donnybrook Rules thing, and they can somehow defeat the Brawling Brutes, they could very may well go down in history as the top 3-man faction in WWE. That's just my opinion. So I am going with Imperium. Next up, we have an I Quit match, and it's very rare. It's very rare that we get an I Quit match in WWE. Hang on. List of all I Quit matches. Let's see. Let's see. I know that obviously, in other promotions there have been I Quit matches, but excuse me. But let's see about those. Let's see. Let's go WWE. So as far as WWE's I Quit matches go, we had Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund, which took place at WrestleMania 11, which was rather unique. It was rather unique to say the very least. We had Stone Cold Steve Austin against Ken Shamrock. The Rock and Mankind or Mick Foley, The Rock and Triple H, Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. In which for this one, it was interesting because with this one, the loser had to leave their position. Vince as chairman, and then Stephanie as GM of SmackDown, which Stephanie didn't say I quit. Linda McMahon threw the towel in. And I guess she was also able to win this match anyway by pinfall, I guess. I don't know what the hell happened. John Cena and JBL. Ric Flair and Mick Foley. Chavo Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Not once but twice. Not once, but twice. Actually, literally almost a year apart, actually, funny enough, which is pretty crazy. Beth Phoenix and Melina, Big Show and Ryan Taylor, which I believe Ryan Taylor... Yeah, okay, I thought so. I thought so. He was known as Tyler Russ. Tyler Russ in NXT. I thought so. It took me a second to figure that one out. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. John Cena and Randy Orton, in which if anybody interfered on Orton's behalf, he would lose the title to John Cena. John Cena and Batista, John Cena and The Miz, Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger, John Cena and Rusev, Jack Gallagher and Arya Daivari on 205 Live, Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar, Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm. This was over in NXT UK. This was actually right before COVID, actually. Pretty fun, funny enough. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Ronda Rousey and Shotzi. Charlotte Flair and Aaliyah, which that one ended in a no contest. Because Aaliyah actually beat the clock, funny enough. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, and now we have this one. But you guys are probably wondering, wait a minute, what's this one? Edge and Finn Balor. This will be a very unique matchup because you have two because you have two different you've got two world class athletes. You have two world class athletes where who have traveled all over the world more times than anybody, won championships all over the world, and now it's a battle between former Judgment Day leader and former Judgment Day student, if you will. And funny thing, there was an interview not too long ago when Balor first joined Judgment Day. There was like an interview or something that apparently said that it was said that Balor was going to be the new leader of Judgment Day, but Balor doesn't see it that way. Apparently he sees all the members of Judgment Day as equal. So I would preferably call Judgment Day the core, the new version of the core, which was a old faction from 2011. But this is going to be interesting because when you think about Edge and Finn Balor, people forget that last year in 2021, Edge was actually on NXT contemplating challenging Finn Balor for the NXT title at WrestleMania in Raymond James Stadium. So I'm surprised that we're finally now going to be getting this matchup, but you got to think, but to be fair, when you look at previous I Quit matches in professional wrestling, you got AEW. I guess the only one of its kind for AEW. Again, I don't watch, but we have John Moxley or his Dean Ambrose against Eddie Kingston. If you guys know who, Eddie Kingston. Yeah, I don't know him. Don't know him. I guess he's just some random schmuck. Who the hell knows? For the AEW World Title at a show called, what was it? Full Gear? Looks like, yeah, Full Gear in Jacksonville. Okay, I mean, it's not bad. But you look at ECW, You have Terry Funk against Eddie Gilbert, which I believe... Yeah, I believe that no titles were on the line for all three. Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer and C.W. Anderson. I don't know who the fuck that is. Then of course you have the promotion Lucha Underground, which I believe they they called it a no mas match, which I guess it was like their way of saying, I quit, so it's interesting. You have Sexy Star against Mariposa. Okay, I don't really know. Lucius? I have no idea. I've got no idea. Against Jack Evans. I never got the chance to watch. Honestly, I never got the chance to watch Lucha Underground when it was on Netflix, so I never got the chance to, unfortunately. And then of course too, you've got Ring of Honor, which had Alex Shelley and Jimmy Jacobs, Jimmy Rave and Nigel McGuinness, Austin Aries and Jimmy Jacobs, Colt Cabana, and Steve Corino Steve Corino, back in 2010. That's actually pretty cool. TNA Impact Wrestling, Booker T and Jethro Holiday, or I guess you guys might not know who the name is. Maybe this might help. Trevor Murdoch. If you guys remember Trevor Murdoch, that's Jethro Holiday. AJ Styles and Booker T. Velvet Sky and Angelina Love. Brian Kendrick and Douglas Williams. AJ Styles and Tommy Dreamer. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. Kurt Angle and D'Lo Brown. I believe this was when D'Lo was a part of the Aces and Eights. Gunner and James Storm. Mr. Anderson and Samuel Shaw. And here's wonder, wait a minute, Samuel Shaw? Who the fuck? Maybe this might help. Dexter Loomis. That might work out. Kurt Angle and Eric Young. And the last one was Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, which ended in a no contest because neither man would continue. And then we had WCW, which had the Taskmaster against Brian Pillman, Goldberg and Sid Vicious, or Psycho Sid, if you will. Rowdy Roddy Piper against Creative Control, which I believe were known as Gerald and Patrick, or Donald and Ronald Harris, I guess? Yeah. David Flair and Terry Funk, Dustin Goldust and Terry Funk, and the last I Quit match before WCW went out of business completely was Norman Smiley against M.I. Smooth, or I guess Harold Fitzgerald Hogue? Ice Train, I don't know. I probably butchered his name. And then, of course, WWE, I had mentioned it. In fact, WWE has hosted more I Quit matches than any other promotion in the world, which is insane. Which is pretty cool. But this one could very maybe will be the most difficult match in Edge's career for two reasons. One, because of the fact that Edge has never been in an I Quit match, and the second thing is that he's never quit. Even though he did leave WWE back in 2011, Balor said it best. He said that he quit at that time, but I don't see it that way. I see it as him leaving WWE for his own health. That's what happened. This is going to be very interesting because you got Edge, who's a Hall of Famer, against Finn Balor, who's a future Hall of Famer. And the biggest downfall for Edge is wanting an I Quit match because of the fact that Balor is going to have all the members of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, and Damian Priest backing him up. Edge, right now he has nobody. He's got nobody. Rey Mysterio is still haunted by the fact that Dom said that he hated his own father. AJ Styles, there's no way that AJ Styles will back Edge up after all the bullshit that Edge brought to AJ Styles, because Edge said it best. It's his own fault. He brought in Judgment Day. Now he has to end it. And I don't think this I Quit match is going to do it. I think Survivor Series might be the only way to end Judgment Day. Is if AJ Styles were to join Judgment Day and Edge would teams up with, I'll say, Matt Riddle, Rey Mysterio, Beth Phoenix, and I don't know. I guess maybe Dolph Ziggler, maybe? Because I know that Dolph has had a couple issues with Judgment Day, so it's possible. But honestly, there's no way Edge wins. I'm going with Finn Balor on this one. Next up, we have a strap match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. I'm surprised that this is actually. I'm surprised that Drew is now once again out of the world title picture. Given the fact that Drew never technically didn't lose his title. He did not lose his WWE title. He was forced to lose it via the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he has not been champion since. So for him, it's been almost 2 years since he's been champion, and I think honestly, Karrion Kross needs to for Drew anyway. Kross needs to be taken out of the equation, because when you look at previous strap matches in WWE, you've got a lot of them. There have been quite a few strap matches. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I can find something. There is nothing. There is nothing. Nothing at all. Oh well. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, there's been quite a few strap matches in WWE, including including the match between Rusev and John Cena, which was a Russian chain match for the United States title, which was a very hectic matchup. This matchup right here between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross is going to be just as, because you have two men who want to be the one to beat Roman Reigns and take the undisputed Universal title. Yet both men know that the other cannot stand on his own 2 feet doing so. So what do? They have themselves a strap match, but the biggest con of this whole match is one thing, and that thing's name is Scarlett. With Scarlett in the corner of Karrion Kross, there's no doubt in my mind that Cross is gonna win no matter what. But at the same time, you look at Drew McIntyre. He's traveled the world more times over, and has won multiple championships, not just in WWE, not just in NXT, but also in Ring of Honor, in Evolve, in TNA. He's won titles, all of the world. But so is Karrion Kross. But the big difference is that McIntyre has won more titles than Karrion Kross. But with Kross back in WWE, there's no doubt in my mind that he has a big ass chip on his shoulder, and he has a lot to prove. So, as big of a fan as I am of Drew McIntyre, I gotta go with Karrion Kross on this one, because don't get me wrong, I would be so thrilled to see Drew become champion again. But for now, I think honestly, if there's one person who can stop Roman Reigns, it has to be Karrion Kross, because Kross knows how to manipulate the mind and get inside the mind of Roman Reigns and let him know, hey, I got your number. I got your number. You need to do this on your own. Kross knows how to play them, how to play that mental game. So I gotta go with Karrion Kross on this one. Next up, we have a ladder match for the Raw Women's title between Bianca Belair and Bayley, and this is interesting because their last encounter was last year at Hell in a Cell. If I can find it. Here we are. Bianca Belair and Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title inside Hell in a Cell. And this was literally a very, very brutal matchup. Like, extremely brutal. Like, these two women despise each other really badly, and Bayley was the one that wanted the ladder match, because she wanted this ladder match because she knew that she had an advantage with Damage Control back in Raw. With Bianca Belair, all she has now is Alexa Bliss. Even though this past Monday on Raw, all three women got their asses handed to them. So, who knows? Who knows? I can tell you that with Candice LeRae now back in WWE, which is fucking awesome. With her backing up Bianca Belair, and if Alexa Bliss is able to get back up on her feet, then Bayley's gonna have quite the battle on her hands with Bianca Belair. But honestly, I think the only way for Bianca's career to reach its peak is if she defended the title at WrestleMania next year, right here in my hometown of LA, and she drops it. That's just how I see it. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will it happen? That depends on what Bianca Belair does this Saturday at Extreme Rules. So, I mean, to be fair, honestly, I think Bayley has won so many titles. It's gotten to the point now where she doesn't need any more titles. So, I'm going with Bianca Belair on this one. Next up, we have a fight pit match. You guys are wondering, wait a minute, what? What's the fight pit? Well, it was founded in NXT, and there were only two fight pit matches in WWE. The first one was between Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher on NXT. And you guys are wondering, wait a minute, what? What are you talking about? So back in 2020, this was literally during COVID, And hang on, guys. I'm actually gonna look it up on my phone here. Matt Riddle, Timothy Thatcher. Yeah. So this was actually before. This was actually during COVID, and this was back when. This was actually around the time that there were no fans allowed. May 27th, 2020. Matt Riddle, Timothy Thatcher in the fight pit with Kurt Angle as the special guest referee, because he knew about, he knew about submissions. So it was rather interesting, to say the very least. And the second one actually involved Timothy Thatcher. Back on January 20th, 2021, which was a rather interesting one. So Matt Riddle knows about the fight pit. He's got the experience backing him up, and I think, honestly, with Seth freaking Rollins trying to get inside his head, there's only one person who can officiate this match. But you guys are wondering, wait a minute, who in the fucking hell will have the balls big enough to officiate a fight pit? I'll give you guys a clue. I'll give you guys a couple of clues. He's a UFC Hall of Famer, and he's the only person in UFC to defend 2 titles in 2 different weight classes: middleweight and heavyweight, with the initials DC. So I want you guys to pause this video and drop comments below who you guys think it is. Did you guys comment? Okay, well, okay, good. Well, if you guys guessed Daniel Cormier, you were correct. Yes, former UFC champion Daniel Cormier is going to officiate the fight pit match this Saturday, which makes sense because he knows about the fight pit. He's been in these types of matches before, not just in UFC, but just in all of MMA, just in general. So he knows. So it makes sense because we know that he and Matt Riddle have been friends for a while, but he's also a big fan of Seth freaking Rollins. So it would only make sense for him to officiate this match because even though he and Riddle are friends and he's a fan of Seth Rollins, he'll call it down the middle no matter what. So I actually like the idea, but I think the only thing that would make this match even better is if this match went the distance, like 10, 15, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, and Matt Riddle picks up the victory. So for me, I gotta go with the original bro. He's got the experience. He knows this match. This is his match. And I'm surprised, and honestly, I'm not all that surprised that that the fight pit is being brought into the main roster, given the fact that I actually talked about this in a video from months ago. So it doesn't really surprise me at all that much, but I'm excited for it. So I gotta go with Matt Riddle on this one. Next up, and then last up, we've got Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title in an Extreme Rules match. I'm just gonna be real. I like Liv Morgan. I'm a big fan. Her as champion, she earned it. she earned it, and Ronda Rousey knows it. She even admitted. Ronda Rousey admitted herself that she earned the SmackDown Women's title via the Money in the Bank, and Ronda knows about it because she's been cashed in on before. But let's be real. Let's be real. Without any weapons, Ronda Rousey is the weapon. We all know it. Imagine what she could do with a fucking baseball bat, with a kendo stick, with a steel chair, a table, with whatever she could find under the ring. Imagine. There's no way Liv Morgan is going to survive Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. There's no way in hell. No shot. I'm going with Ronda Rousey on this one. But that brings me to the question of the day. Among the card as it sits now, because we could get more this Friday on SmackDown, who do you guys see walking out with the victory? What are your guys' predictions for Extreme Rules? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.